Good morning, grade 12s. Today we're going to look at the production cost statement, how to complete that, and I'm specifically going to take activity 13.10 in order to show you how to complete that. Now, a production cost statement also have notes like other financial statements. So we're first going to start off with how to complete the notes. So I'm going to look at page 368. And I'm first going to start off with the balances as they show it to you there. There's a balance on 2017, which will be your opening balance, and then 2018 will be your closing balance. So I'm going to start off with the raw materials on hand. That is obviously your direct material. And there is your opening balance, and there is your closing balance. Then they say consumables on hand, obviously for indirect material. That will go to your factory overheads, where you have your opening balance of 3,120 and your closing balance of 3,970. We will here then add the purchases of the indirect material, and the final amount here will then be the amount that we use in order to do the production. Then the next part is the work in process stock. Now the work in process goes directly into your production cost statement. So you open here with your opening balance, you have the beginning of the year, the 12,600, and you end then with the 9,750. Then they have the balances of the finished goods stock, which goes to your cost of finished goods sold. So there is your opening stock balance and your closing stock balance of 25,180. Then I go to all the other balances that comes from your general ledger. The first one is the sales. Now the sales go to your income statement, 1.122,800. 825. So if I look at the income statement, they usually don't ask the income statement for examination, but we're going to do it so that you can see how we come to the net profit at the end of the year. Then the next part is salaries and wages, and there's about 5 divisions there. The first one is the wages of the factory workers, which is obviously your direct labor cost, and that is your factory wages, 289,000. Then there is salary paid to factory security, which is obviously indirect labor, and that will go to your factory overheads. That looks better. Then you have your salaries paid to your office workers, 92,000, which is administration cost, that is 92,000. Then you have your skills and development by factory, which is 2,890, and that goes as a direct labor because it is for the factory. The same way we have the UIF, which is also for the factory, and that also comes here. So then we can actually add this up, and we sit with a total of 296,010. So that amount I then transfer here to my labor costs, my direct labor cost. Okay, then the next part is maintenance and reparation cost. There is 2. The one is sewing machines and the other one is delivery vehicles. Now the sewing machines is the factory overheads. There you can see the maintenance of 11,500. Plus then the delivery vehicle is sales and distribution. And there you can see the repairs, 1,500. Then we have rent expense, which is factory and office. So there's your office part of 8,000, and the factory part, you will see the rent over there. Then we have rates and taxes, water and electricity for the factory, that will obviously also come here. And then for the office, it will go to admin. 2,600, and the stationery is also for the office. That is actually on its own, it's a misprint there in your textbook. So the 960 goes here as stationery, 960. Then we have insurance. Insurance is 3. The one is the for the factory, the 9,000. So you have your insurance here, 9,000. Then you have insurance for your office, 3,000. And then the telephone is actually on its own, supposed to be. That is 22,000, also administrative cost. Then we go to the next page to the depreciation. Now the depreciation, there's also 3 parts. First of all, you have the factory equipment of 10,000. Then you have the delivery vehicle, which is obviously distribution, and that will go there, 12,000. And then you have the office equipment, which is 3,000. Then we have advertising. Now advertising has to do with sales, so therefore it will come here. Then we have bad debts, which has to do with debtors, and debtors has to do with sales, so it comes in your sales and distribution. Commission paid to the marketer is also to do with sales, that also comes here. And then we have vehicle expense fuel, but it's for the delivery vehicle, so that then obviously also comes here. Bank charges goes to administrative cost. And then we can actually add this. So the total there is 145,000, and on this side 32,554. So those two we can then transfer here to our income statement. Okay. Then if I just can see what's going on here, then we go to the bullets at the end of the activity. So the first bullet says raw material bought on credit during the year and in cash amounts. So those two is the purchases that will go into your direct material cost. So then what we actually can do is add up that part, subtract the 40,000, and that gives you a 338,100. And that is the total amount of the direct material cost that we used. And that amount then goes to my production cost statement. I can then also add up those two, which will then give me a total of 634,110. Then I go to the second bullet, which says indirect material was bought for 10,320. So that I can then add here to my indirect material. I will subtract the final balance, and that gives me an amount of 9,470, which is the amount that I used in the factory for indirect material. I can then add all of that, which gives me a total of 107,170. And that amount then goes to factory overheads. So I can then add those amounts, and it gives me 741,280. I can then also add the 12,600 that I had in the beginning. That will give me 753,880 minus the amount that wasn't finished, that is work in process at the end, which then will give me a total amount of 744,130. That amount then goes to my cost of finished goods. Then I can finish this note, and it's 29,600 plus 744,130 minus the closing stock that I didn't sell, and it ends with an amount of 748,500. 550. That 748,550 is the total amount of the cost price of the goods that I sold. That amount then goes to my income statement. Then I can work out my gross profit if I subtract those two, and then I can also calculate my net profit if I subtract the sales and distribution and the admin cost. So this is what my production cost statement look like with all my notes completed.